trade is tentative to answer one of the main issues that freelancers are having today, at least skilled freelancers, because when you try to build a client base, especially over the internet, you basically have two options. Either you rely on your network, or you go to websites like VWorker or Elance, but none of them really take advantage of the possibilities that we have today. VWorker websites tend to gather a lot of people who aren't necessarily skilled, with whom it's difficult to compete on a price level. And on the other side, the network only limits you to a portion of the market and doesn't let you take advantage of the full market. So that's what we are trying to address, to find a way for good coder, good developers, people who like to deliver things, to be able to match, to meet like-minded clients, basically.
Okay, great. So who's involved in your team, and what's their background in online freelancing?
Well, there's a bunch of different backgrounds. We have two coders, myself and Adolfo, who have been working a lot with freelancers. Me more on the client side, Adolfo more on the freelancer side. We have David, who is involved with business development. He has a lot of contacts around in the industry, especially from the video game industry, where we are coming from, both David and I. Mm-hmm. And there is Deborah, who takes care of the design, of making sure we keep an artsy touch in all this coder world.
Great. So can you tell me a little bit about how you launched the service?
Sure. Well, basically, right now we are in the experimentation phase, meaning that we are trying to make sure that we build something that is actually useful to both clients and hackers. So what we started today was to start a discussion on Hacker News, which is one of the main websites for developers, and also a certain number of clients, the more technically oriented, to try to see with them or the main thing can be addressed. So we asked both parties, clients and developers, to sign up on our website to fill an application form, where we would basically select a very small group of developers and of clients with whom we can start working on matching some developers with some coder, trying to put the process in place, trying to adapt to the way they want to work. And basically, today was about starting this discussion.
Nice. And how has it gone so far?
Very well. It was really impressive. Hacker News is a really interesting type of website for this. It's very selective, very picky, but you get some of the best advices, some of the best people, some of the best developers. So we had quite a large number of applications today, and visits and exposition, thanks to the post on Hacker News. And there was also a lot of very good comments. It allowed us to refine some of the portions according to what the user expressed, and it was really interesting from that point of view.
Do you have any tips or best practices or insights you want to share about how to basically launch your service by sharing it with Hacker News?
Well, I would just quote Paul Graham, I think, on that one. It's one of the simplest advices, but it's also one of the most powerful. Try to build or to launch or to announce something that people actually care about, something that they need. And usually when you are able to touch that, the reaction that you get is really amazing.
Nice. Have you been using any other types of social media service, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google+?
Yes, we have been posting on Google Plus and Twitter, relaying it also on Facebook. It's also a very great way, especially when you manage to have a good audience there. On our side, we have more audience on Google Plus, which is more linked to our developer profile originally, and it's really good. But there is nothing that can match a good exposition on a more community-oriented website like Econews.
Very interesting. So, so far in developing this concept and launching the service, what are some of the challenges that you faced and overcome?
Well, one of the biggest challenge I would say that it's pretty much a problem of a chicken and egg to start this kind of service, because you need to be appealing to two very different type of audience who have two very different sets of interests, both the clients and the coder. Those interests align on some parts, but figuring out where they align without falling into the pitfalls of the existing very low-cost service is quite the main challenge. But on the other side, what we were able to see today, that there is a very high demand for something to fill that service. So we are going to work with the first clients and developers that will be selected in the coming weeks, and try to build just that, not just ourselves, but with them, basically.
So for the next 60 to 90 days, have you set up goals or kind of what you're hoping to achieve with these initial people that sign up for your service?
Yes, it will sound almost silly, but we want them to be happy about the experience we'll be able to propose. Because while most websites targeting this kind of audience try to build a tool, something on which people will go to do something, we really start by the human approach, where almost behaving like an agency at the current scale that we have. So right now, it's not about big numbers. It's not about trying to bring millions of people. We just want the handful of people that will be working with us to be really happy about what they get.
Great. So obviously you've had some pretty deep experience in the freelancing world online. Based on your vision for your business, where do you think the online freelancing world is going? And what is the future of online freelancing?
Well, I think it's pretty archaic today, the way we do it. What I've noticed a lot is that there are a lot of willingness from a lot of people, especially coders, to get out of the cubicle, to have their own business, their own clients, being able to deal with different people, not just one boss, and go to the same place and take the subway every day. So I think if we can manage to make this work better, if it can be more appealing, more safe for people to get started with this, at least get the proper learning and help for this at the start, I hope that we'll get more people who will get out of the cubicle and join us, basically.
Great. So you're really solving a big problem for a lot of coders, that sometimes finding good jobs that pay a decent amount and are interesting and engaging takes a lot of business development work.
Definitely.
That's great. So any other points that you want to touch on or discuss? Anything that is kind of on your mind, do you think is really important for people to know about your service?
Well, I would just engage those who are intrigued at the minimum by the concept to try to come have a look, to see a bit what our concept, what our philosophy is, and try to apply. It doesn't engage you for anything, and you may be happily surprised by what we prepare for you.
So for someone who wants to use your service, what does it cost them?
Well, we take about 10% of the cost, which is a price which is pretty similar to the main freelancing platform, and a bit lower than most. So it's basically 5% added on top of the price of the coder and the price that the clients would pay to share the cost of our service between the two.
Great. So does that mean that 10% is for the entire lifetime of that relationship between the coder and the client?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, The main thing that we are trying to focus on right now is to set up the educational part of hacker trade, meaning that it's something that should allow people, even people who are new, etc., to set up, establish really good relationships with clients. So for the price, it's basically what we start with, but just like the rest of what we are doing is something we are really open to discuss with the clients who will work with us. Will be small enough to have this kind of discussion, so it's of course something that we can review with them.
Great. So for clients who don't have a lot of experience working with coders, how does your service help them? Is it a good fit for them?
I would say it is, and one of the main things we look at, even more than pure skill, is the ability for coders to deliver, even if it's on something that they are learning, to have clearly an habit of shipping. And on the client side is to be able to understand the type of constraints that a coder goes. Doesn't mean that it needs to be technical, because we are there to kind of put things on the right track, set up the right process. We have worked a lot of times with online contracting, and so we kind of know the few areas where you have to be really careful if you want to do this well, if you don't want the project to start slowing down and etc. So these are things that we teach, especially at the beginning. We'll be very present to set up and establish the relationship and the process. And the idea is that after some time we don't need to intervene. The relationship is working fine between the developer and the client, and they are both able to manage the project on their own.
Great. So do you incorporate any startup methodologies like Lean or any of those conceptual frameworks?
We are very lean for that part, especially because we really start small, not only in terms of expenses and etc., but also in terms of scale of what we do. We try to figure it out well first, try to become ramen profitable first, try to make sure that we have something that at least interests a few people, and build upon that afterwards. And another methodology that we use, especially for the online contracting, is the Scrum methodology. It's quite central to our approach to make sure that that it's manageable and that there is a common agreement that makes sense for both the developer and the client.
So, in the spirit of Hacker News, is your team a group of hackers or painters?
Yeah, the two founders are coders, but we are kind of all a bit of painters, because for that, Deborah, which is our artistic mind, is really careful to maintain that spirit in us.
Great. I really appreciate you taking the time to chat. And how do people find you on the web?
It's very simple. You go on hackertrade.com, all attached, and you'll get the explanation about the work and the two forms to apply for both the client and hackers.